So it happens that I started taking this video on joy and wanting to say to you, welcome for joining me here. It's so nice to have you. I'm so glad you decided to come and chat and and to look at one of the ways that we can live with spirit by experiencing joy. Experiencing joy, which leads to us feeling passion, which leads to us living our purpose. Sometimes, however, there are small things that stand in our way, and as I was recording this, the screen became extremely blurry. It became all weird. And I did what I could do, and I couldn't figure out what this was, and I thought, well, somebody is interfering, somebody is not wanting to talk about joy. And then the obvious thing was look at the camera, and there was the one thing that robs me of my joy. Right in front of the lens, a fly. They're back. They're very much back. So I have to work on finding joy every single day, even if it is just swatting flies, because they are quite challenging. But that was the start to this video. Anyway, here we go. When we work and live with spirit, we have to find ways of enhancing that. We have to find ways of deepening that. And living with joy is one of those things. Now, living with joy is not something that comes naturally for many people, which is quite shameful, because living with joy is what should come naturally for us. It's how we were wired, but we've rewired ourselves. We've rewired ourselves to live with worry, to live with concerns, to live with hardship, and to forget the joy. There are so many people who do not allow themselves to feel joy, and who don't even, when I ask them, what brings you joy, can't answer me. Because we are so focused on what takes our joy away from us. That is what happens. Now, joy, living with joy, expresses a generosity of spirit. It doesn't just express it, it brings it to us. Because when we live with joy, when we are feeling joy, it is a natural thing that you want to share it. It is a natural thing that you want somebody else to feel it. You want to tell somebody else about something good that has happened. And even if you don't, if you are feeling joy, if your entire body, your whole energy field says joy, the people around you feel it anyway, whether you are wanting to share it or not, because it is a natural outflow of who you are. And that is what makes joy such a wonderful, wonderful thing. We don't even know what joy is. But let me tell you, for me, joy is the thing that opens our hearts. It's the thing that opens our whole energy field. It is the very thing that connects with the passion, the fire within us. Now, we could say that we don't have money to go to theatre, or in my instance, I just live too far away because that brings me joy. There are many things that bring us joy that we can't always have. But we need to learn to start with little joys. We need to learn to start enjoying the small things that light up our day, that light up our being. You know, there's nothing like the feel of a child's hand on you. A child comes along and puts their little hand on your arm. What a wonderful feeling. A child's touch, a child's laughter, those are the things that bring joy. Animals bring such joy. Most of them. Lorenzo's just got himself a Jack Russell. She's 13 weeks old, weighs all of 2 kgs. She packs 6 hours of activity into 1 hour of our day. And when she's asleep, she brings us a lot of joy. When she's not asleep, she brings a lot of laughter and a lot of activity too. But our animals bring so much joy. Looking at them, being with them, talking to them. So many people have animals that are their companions, just stroking them, just being with them and just having them. For me, it is wearing a special piece of jewelry. It's seeing colors that uplift you. It is listening to specific music. There are certain songs which, when you listen to them, they put spring in your step. There are things that when you are just feeling so down, you do them, you go there, you experience, you indulge, and there's just a feeling of warmth. The right phone call at the right time. I phoned somebody the other day who was a friend of my mom. It was her birthday, and I phoned her. And she was completely overjoyed getting this phone call. And she said to me, I'm going to phone my daughter now and tell her that you called me. Because your mom would have called me. This brings me so much joy. And I thought, one phone call, it cost me nothing. But it brought her joy. It made her day. Little things. You walk in a shop and you see something that reminds you of someone. And you get it for them. Or you just pick up the phone and you say, you know what, I saw XYZ today and I thought of you. A beautiful garden filled with flowers. It gives you a sense of wonder. When you feel joy, really feel joy, it is as though the blood just flows through your arteries a little bit faster. And that blood is filled with light and oxygen because you feel it. You feel your heart opening. You feel your whole energy field being uplifted. You cannot help but. Because joy is something that touches every part of your body. It is the very thing that feeds your adrenals. It feeds your brain. It feeds your heart. And it takes tiny little things. A special cup of coffee. Coffee today can either cost nothing or a lot. But if you've got a special coffee, even if it is a little bit more expensive than anything else, and you keep it in your cupboard, and every morning you have that cup of coffee, you're not just going to gulp it down. You're going to take your time. You're going to enjoy it. You're going to savor it. And you're probably going to do it sitting in nature or thinking about things to be grateful for. Joy does not always have to be bubbly. Joy does not always have to be loud. Joy does not always have to be active. Certain joys can be felt so softly, so subtly. In fact, many joys are very seldom spoken about. And we need to know that, because we have these preconceived ideas in our head about what joy is. I'm quite sure that if you are listening to that, there's a very strong possibility that you watched the Adele concert, one night only, that was recently shown with me. Very strong possibility that you sat there and looked at this person, absolutely beautiful, but more than that, so talented, beautiful voice, beautiful soul, sharing beautiful words with the world. And as I was watching this, I had a very clear message come to me saying that is what passion is all about. And she is living her purpose, touching people's lives. It's not everybody who loves Adele. It's not everybody who used to love Jim Reeves in his day. There's Clint Eastwood, who's just made a movie. At the age of 91, he has made a movie. And I was reading the reviews the other day, and some people said, really, it's time. It's time to retire. But the majority of people said, seeing him do what brings him joy gives us hope. To be able to still be out there and working and saying, doing this work, bringing this to the public brings me joy. How amazing is that? How amazing is that? Because he's also getting the joy from it. Joy gives us hope. Joy gives us something to hold on to. It touches our lives in so many ways. Joy is the thing that speaks to our soul. And it doesn't have to be big. So much healing, so many blessings lie in the little joys. The little joys, the first buds in spring. Raindrops after a hot day or a dry earth, and to feel those raindrops brings joy. The feeling of rain on your skin. Little things, things that money cannot buy, that brings so much joy. Joy unlocks us. It unlocks us and it opens us up, because in the moment when you feel joy, it's the one thing that brings all your senses together. Everything. It brings together all your feelings of belonging, of being safe, of loving somebody else, of honoring something else or somebody else. It allows you to feel what goes on inside of you. It opens your heart. Joy aligns everything within you, and it allows your body, your energy field, to come alive. That is what joy does for all of us. It lifts us to a place where spirit is waiting. It lifts us to a place where spirit is not just there, but it touches us. Or it always touches us, but it lifts us maybe to a place where we feel how it touches us. So what can we do to cultivate joy? What can we do to feel more of that? We have to become consciously engaged. Many of us have taken the time to say what brings me joy and indulge in that more. And those of us who have done that can actually feel it. We can see and feel how that has affected our lives, how that's made a difference. But what can you do if you are not used to it? It is so great to be able to see and feel how joy has touched our lives. So in order to create more joy, we need to consciously engage by writing down or thinking, sitting down and consciously thinking, what has brought me joy in the past? What has touched my life? What can I do? What do I want more of? What moments do I want to turn into minutes? Moments of joy that I want to turn into minutes of joy. There are many ways that we can do this, and it takes commitment to yourself to go and put on the music that you love. How many of you love music, yet you hardly ever put it on? Yet when you do, you feel uplifted. How many of you ever read poetry? Being a word merchant, that is one of my great loves, and I've just come across an Afrikaans magazine which is so beautifully written, and you read that and you think, that is why I love my language. That is why I love the expression. Because somebody else expresses their joy and I can feel it. One of the nice things to do is to create a joy jar. So you want to maybe create a joy jar for yourself or for somebody else, or maybe while you're doing for yourself, make one for another person as well. And a joy jar is made up of a beautiful jar. You choose whatever you want, whatever container you want, and you can maybe get ice cream sticks. You can find them at many craft shops, or any twigs, or even cards, pieces of card, whatever you want to use. And on there, you write things that bring you joy. Something like, take a bubble bath, listen to your favorite songs, phone somebody you haven't spoken to for a long time, go and speak to a wise person, somebody who will uplift you, go for a facial. What else is there? Oh, there are so many things, and now that I'm needing to mention them, I'm thinking about it. Buy myself an outfit or a piece of clothing that I really love, or go through my wardrobe and upscale some of my old clothes, or go through my wardrobe and wear something that I used to love wearing, but I haven't been, for whatever reason, wearing it anymore. Wear a piece of jewelry that you haven't for a long time, and when you look at it, feel the joy that you felt when you first bought it. Bake. If you love baking, go and bake something, make something, do some crafts, whatever, and you put that on the joystick, and every day or every weekend or every now and again, you go to the joy jar and you pull out one of these sticks and you do what it tells you to do. That way, you've sat down, you've thought about it, you've put in there something that will cultivate joy for you. And all you have to do is show up and do it. And the more you do that, let us say you choose to do a certain craft. The more you do that, the better you feel about yourself when you do it, and the more you want to do it. Until, if you're a writer, you write the smallest paragraph at a time because you enjoy it. Before you know it, you could have a blog spot and be writing a blog and possibly even making money out of it, or just putting it out there for other people to enjoy. You could sing, be a singer, maybe not necessarily be a singer, but love singing. And as you do it, it absolutely brings you joy because you are doing it. You get joy out of it. You share. You say to your mom, listen to what I've done. Listen to what I've recorded. Or you say to somebody else, you put it on YouTube, whatever the case may be, and people share in it. They feel your joy. And the more you do that, the more you grow the fire within you. And the more you grow the fire within you, the happier you become, the more inspired you become. And the more you walk the path of joy, the more Spirit will take you onto a bigger road of joy, into another place where you can feel even more joy. And that is what our purpose is. Spirit always, when I ask on behalf of a client, what is this person's purpose? They will always say, to live your joy. That is what Spirit wants for us. To live our joy, because the minute we live our joy, we are uplifted. We are again more aligned and more in touch with our passion, with our light, with our soul. And as we become enlightened, as we touch our soul, as we see our light expanding, we shine our light onto other people's light. We shine our light onto other people's dark corners, shadows, and we inspire them. We help them to find and to reconnect with their light. We give them permission to go within and to go and find their joy and to again start living it. And by that, to reigniting their passion so that they too may live their purpose. Have fun. Have fun doing this. Have fun experiencing joy. Go to the theatre if you can. Go and watch a special movie, My Fair Lady, or something that comes from your childhood. Something that reminds you of your time as a child, but that brought you joy. Go and do the things that touch your soul. Live your joy.